I want to show you about violet flower water and other sorts of violet things. So these little guys are Viola sororia, and this is not a super crowded patch of them, but there's a few. So it's about 10:30 in the morning, and I'm gonna pick some. Not the whole patch. Violets are just getting started now where we are. In some places they've been going for a while already. So just for demonstration purposes, just so you know, it's good to pick flowers mid-morning to late morning when if there's any dew, it's dried off, but before the sun has gotten too intense. Here's one more I'm gonna get. Well, and I'm gonna wait and pick ones that look like they're open, but not too old. So I think here's a good one. And I think here's another one. So that's kind of what it's about for if you want to harvest flowers to do things with. And of course, the different flowers blooming at different times of year. But still, I think the rule about mid to late morning, depending on where you live, an intense sun, it might be good to do things a little bit earlier. And I'll show you what I did with those. I'm going to show you the different colors of violets. The bluer violet ones, and then these ones I found this morning that are a more reddish violet. So I have a flower water already steeping in this little jar, but I put it in the bowl so you could see that the blue color has already been starting to percolate. And the way I did that was, because I don't have a whole bunch of violets to get all at once, or the time to take all morning to pick them, which takes a while. So I've been doing, adding successive amounts of flowers to a jar, and then putting it in the morning sun. So that's the way I learned flower waters, was to put them in glass, a shallow bowl or a little jar like this, and put them in the morning to noon sun, and basically make a very gentle, warm infusion with the light, warmth, and energy from the sun. So I just wanted to show you, excuse my dirty fingers, when you're making a flower water, you try as much as possible to take off the calyx or the bud, flower bud. So you're just taking the petals. The bottom parts are fine as far as medicine, but if you're wanting flower water that is bluish purple, you don't want those parts because they are green. They have chlorophyll and other things in them, and you will get a lovely greenish flower water or tincture. So that's what I have, and that's more of what I'm putting in my continuing infusion. Here is my ongoing attempt at violet flower water. I just put both the more purplish and the bluish purple flower petals in the jar. I have a plastic on the lid because I'm doing this infusion over a few days, and this is the first time that I've been able to retain and smell the really delicate sweet violet smell. So that's a thing. I put only filtered water in here. Distilled water is often recommended. My concern is that in our country, most distilled water comes in plastic jugs, and I would rather not have any plastic exudates in my flower water. So I'm trying with the filtered water this year to see how that works. And I'm just going to put it in just my morning sun. It's about 11 o'clock now. And then I'm going to move it, I think, to an indirect sunlight. If you live in a house that has windows that do not have UV blockage, you can set it up in a window that gets indirect sun. And that's indeed what we have in our place. So you can maybe see the blueness in the water that's going. So the idea about flower waters that I learned was that they're very delicate, subtle things. Once you have the amount of flower water that you like, you can preserve it with up to 10 to 20% alcohol, which we'll go over. It involves math. You can do it. And so this kind of flower water is different than the idea of pouring boiling water over things. This instead is a very gentle sun tea, essentially, a warm infusion. And I find it interesting, if you're making a tincture with alcohol, you put your alcohol and plant matter in a dark glass, keep it somewhere medium cool away from sunlight. But when you're making a flower water, the energy and the gentle sun is part of the process. So there's a difference. Good morning. I am unveiling the small bit of violet water that has developed, and I wanted to show you this. There's still some purple color in those petals, so I'm going to put the water back in there and percolate it, perhaps with another volume of water, a little alcohol, and some more petals. But here is some very violet water. Can you see the purple? There's a good view of the color. So I will put this back in maybe and add a little bit more to it. But this is a very nice natural violet water. Sometimes people have a bluish violet water and they add vinegar to it to make it more purple, because the change in pH from the vinegar turns the blue to purple because of adding a little red. So red plus blue equals purple. But this is a violet water that has been created without extreme heat or boiling water. It's been created without adding vinegar. We used natural blue and lucked into some purple violets. So this, to me, this is the way I learned about making a flower water. So, it's beautiful. I hope to make more.